Well, the World Health Organization this week published the 2019 World Malaria Report. And what I want to do today is take a look at it. Let's look at some of the numbers. Have things gotten better, still the same, or have they gotten worse? So if we go inside, the actual document itself is quite large. But they put out this nice summary, this year's report at a glance. And let's take a look at some of the numbers. It says in 2018, there was about 228 million cases of malaria across the globe. This is down considerably from 2010 when there was 251 million cases, and down about 3 million cases just from last year, or 2017, 1 year prior. The vast majority of malaria is still recorded in the African region, about 93% of all malaria cases. This is followed by Southeast Asia and the Eastern Mediterranean, very, very much smaller numbers. There's 19 countries in sub-Saharan Africa and India that carried about 85% of all the global malaria. And just in Africa, 6 countries accounted for more than half of all malaria cases. And this continues to be led by Nigeria, which accounts for a quarter of all malaria cases. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, and we're going to look at them a little bit closer in a little bit. So not only do they battle Ebola and massive measles outbreaks and other outbreaks of cholera and monkeypox, they're also dealing with malaria, accounting for 12% of the global total. And Uganda, the Ivory Coast, Mozambique, and Niger round out the rest of these 6 countries that make up half of all the malaria cases worldwide. Now, we see some good news, right? In Southeast Asia, the incident rate continues to fall, and it's fallen pretty dramatically from 17 cases per 100,000 population in 2010 to 5 cases in 2018. So it's about a 70% decrease. Africa's also saw a decrease from about 294 in 2010 to 229 in 2018, about a 22% reduction, but still very, very large numbers of malaria in that region. Most other areas of the globe recorded very little change. The Americas recorded a rise, and that's really due to the large increases of malaria in Venezuela, which we've reported on this program many times before. Now, as far as malaria deaths, there's an estimated about 405,000 fatalities from malaria globally, and that's down from 416 fatalities in 2017, 1 year prior, and down from 585,000 in 2010. So, and again, Africa accounts for the vast majority of malaria cases and the vast majority of malaria fatalities. In 2018, Africa accounted for 94% of malaria fatalities. Okay, so let me go ahead and move on to the next report, and this is from the Deccan Chronicle. I believe that's an Indian media report. And it says Southeast Asia region continues to register a steep decline in malaria incidence, and the World Health Organization said that accelerated efforts by member nations are being in place to achieve zero malaria by 2013. Quote, there is a strong commitment to eliminate malaria in the region, reflected in the commendable intense efforts and progress being made by member countries. This momentum needs to be sustained and further accelerated to prevent, rapidly detect, and treat malaria to benefit everyone everywhere. And just going back to the report, Southeast Asia 2018 saw about 8 million cases total and 11,600 malaria fatalities. Both are down very dramatically from 2010, down 69% and 70% respectively, and by far the largest decline. And we've seen some countries in this region of Southeast Asia report countries that have reported the elimination of malaria. We saw the Maldives, we saw Sri Lanka, both become certified malaria free. And Timor-Leste and Bhutan are getting very, very close. Even India itself, compared from 2017 to 2018, saw a decrease of well over 2 million malaria cases in just a span of 1 year. So very, very good progress going on in that part of the world when it comes to malaria. And this just gives you this is out of the journal Nature. I think it's a blog or an article out of Nature, and it gives you a nice graph. It tells you what malaria in Southeast Asia has looked like since 2010. And you can see that the number of cases back in 2010 is in the ballpark of 25 million. And it has dropped all the way down to about 8 million in 2018. So it's some very, very good progress in Southeast Asia. Now, if we go to Africa, these are actually numbers from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and this is from the Severe Malaria Observatory, and these are the 2016 information. And at the time, remember, DRC was the number 2 country in the world for malaria, only behind Nigeria. Well, back in 2016, they were still number 2. They were the second largest number of malaria cases and deaths globally, 11% of all cases and 11% of all fatalities worldwide. Now it's 12%, so it's actually gotten a little worse in DRC. They also accounted for, back in 2016, the highest number of malaria cases in all of Central Africa, accounting for more than half. So clearly DRC has large issues with malaria that has been going on for several years. And the last thing I want to just point out is that it's still going on in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And this is from the most recent World Health Organization Region of Africa weekly report, where they put out information on some of the outbreaks that are going on the continent. And there was this portion about the humanitarian crisis in the DRC. And they have this one little paragraph stuck in here which talks about malaria. And it says, epidemic-prone diseases continue. The main cause of illness during week 45, the week ending November 10th, were malaria. So DRC saw 324,850 cases of malaria during that week. I mean, it's really hard to fathom, but that's what they saw. Since the start of 2019, there have been 15,480,114 cases of malaria with 16,100 fatalities. Big number, right? This is an increase against 2018 of 13,400,014 cases and 14,724 deaths. So, yeah, malaria has been a big problem in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And the only country that's really worse concerning malaria is Nigeria, which accounts for 1/4 of all the malaria cases in the world. And I wanted to just go back and see if I can find that information concerning the type of pathogens we're looking at here. And I think I read somewhere that the vast majority of the malaria cases are related to, in Africa that is, Plasmodium falciparum, which is, of course, the deadliest type of malaria. While in other parts of the world, particularly in, say, Latin America and all that, Plasmodium vivax is more prominent. So anyway, so that's some of the stuff that's going on with malaria and the new report. And just a brief overview, we've seen some dramatic progress in South Asia. We've seen some progress in Africa, but still the numbers are hugely, hugely high in that part of the world. So, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. I hope you enjoyed what you're watching. Go ahead and comment below, share this with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time on the next Outbreak News TV.